Welcome to MLS English Podcast, the show where English learning meets mindset growth.
Whether you're here to boost your vocabulary, speak with confidence, or build a strong, unstoppable mindset, you're in the perfect place.
Get ready for powerful tips, real conversations, and high energy that will move you forward.
This is more than just a podcast. This is your new routine for success.
Okay, so today we're doing a deep dive into something really fascinating material you shared about the brain's incredible ability to change and adapt, rewiring itself, basically.
Exactly. It's all about what people often call rewiring your brain. And we're looking at not just, how it happens scientifically, but really why it's so important.
Why it matters for, well, everything, right? From learning skills like getting fluent in English, which I know a lot of you are focused on.
Absolutely. To simply feeling, better, more in control day to day, less like you're just reacting.
Yeah, that feeling of being on autopilot. I think everyone knows that one.
Yeah.
Just sort of going through the motions, scrolling, working, not really present. I've definitely been there.
Oh, for sure. And there's science behind that feeling. It's quite stark, actually. By the time we're around 35, something like 95% of our thoughts, our actions, our behaviors, they can be unconscious habits.
95%. Wow.
Yeah. We become creatures of routine, often really good routines, but sometimes ones that don't serve us anymore. So this deep dive, it's designed to help you kind of flip that switch.
To consciously take the wheel. Yeah. Whether you want to tackle negative thoughts, build new positive habits, or maybe learn something faster.
Precisely. It's about becoming the architect, not just the passenger.
Okay, so let's unpack this. When we talk about rewiring, what's the biggest hurdle, the biggest myth we need to bust right away? I guess it's that idea that your brain is fixed, isn't it? Like it's hardwired.
That's absolutely the place to start, because the most groundbreaking idea here is that your brain isn't fixed at all. It's much more like a living garden.
A garden. How so?
Well, every thought you have, every action you repeat, every emotion you feel, it's like planting a seed. Some grow strong, Confidence, new skills like speaking practice, resilience. Those are your sturdy trees.
Okay.
But others can become weeds. Self-doubt, procrastination, maybe that fear of making mistakes when you speak English. Those can take root too if you're not careful.
So it's constantly changing based on what we cultivate.
Exactly. That ability to change, the scientific term is neuroplasticity. It just means your brain is always reshaping itself, adapting, rewiring every single day based on what you do, think, and feel.
So for you listening, this is, well, it's kind of exciting, but also a bit daunting maybe.
Yeah.
Because if you're not actively guiding the change,
It's still happening anyway, just maybe not in the direction you want. You're either consciously building that better mental garden or, maybe letting the weeds spread a bit.
the big takeaway then is you're not stuck. You're, what was the word used? Sculptable. I like that.
Profoundly sculptable, yes.
Okay, building on that. One of the most counterintuitive things in the material you shared was about motivation. We usually wait to feel inspired before we act, right? I'll start practicing my English when I feel motivated.
Right. We think, once I feel ready, then I'll do it. But the neuroscience shows it's actually the other way around. Action comes first, motivation follows.
How does that work? The brain just jumps on board.
Pretty much. Your brain responds to what you do. It says, oh, we're doing this now. Okay, this must be important. Let me start making this easier. It starts rewiring to support the action.
Like the campfire analogy you mentioned.
Exactly like the campfire. You don't sit there waiting for warmth to appear out of thin air, do you?
No, you light the match first.
You light the match. Whether it's journaling one sentence, saying a few English phrases out loud, starting that walk, you don't need the feeling first. You just need to start. Act.
And once you do, the brain starts building those pathways.
Yeah.
Making it easier next time, releasing the feel-good stuff.
Precisely. It reinforces the behavior, releases dopamine, makes it feel more rewarding. So next time you're thinking, I don't feel like it.
Remind yourself, act first. The feeling catches up. You can actually act your way into feeling motivated. That's powerful.
It really is. You create the motivation through action.
So action gets the ball rolling. But to really make lasting change, to build these new patterns, we need to talk about habits, right? Because it's not just isolated actions. It's who you become through repetition.
Absolutely. This ties into that famous saying, neurons that fire together, wire together. It's not just catchy, it's brain science 101.
Explain that a bit more. How does firing together lead to wiring together?
Every time you repeat something, a thought, an action, even an emotional response, your brain physically makes that pathway stronger, more efficient. Think of it like carving a path in a forest.
The first time is hard work. pushing through branches.
Exactly. But each time you walk it, the path gets clearer, wider, easier to follow, until eventually it's the default route. Your brain just takes it automatically. That's a habit forming at the neural level.
Which is why even tiny habits are so important, like spending just 5 minutes a day on something.
Immensely important. Consistency over intensity, often. That 5 minutes of, say, reviewing vocabulary or practicing pronunciation done daily starts installing that mental software, as you put it. It compounds.
It's not about the 5 minutes today. It's about the accumulated effect of those 5 minutes over weeks, months.
Precisely. Those small daily actions literally begin to sculpt your identity. You become the person who practices English daily. You become the person who meditates.
So if you want to be a fluent speaker or a confident person or healthier, you don't need some massive overnight transformation.
No, you need daily reps. The habits you repeat become who you are. And the really empowering part is you choose what to repeat. You're the architect.
You're the architect of your future patterns. I like that
Yeah.
framing. But, okay, here's the catch I see. You can't build strong tracks if your attention is scattered everywhere, right? Focus seems key.
Oh, absolutely critical and hugely underestimated. Your attention is like the director of the construction crew in your brain. It's the spotlight.
Whatever you shine it on gets built.
That's basically it. If your focus is consistently on growth, on learning, on finding solutions, your brain diligently builds strong pathways to support exactly those things. It gets better at what you focus on.
But the flip side,
Mm-hmm.
if your attention is always jumping, endlessly scrolling, trying to multitask 5 things at once, living in that distraction mode.
Then your brain struggles. It doesn't get clear signals about what's important, and worse, it actually starts wiring itself for distraction, for shallow thinking, for scattered energy.
So it's not just about being unproductive in the moment, it's actually training your brain to be distracted.
It's a wiring issue, absolutely. Your brain's structure physically changes based on where you consistently place your focus. Deep, repeated focus builds deep pathways. Scattered focus builds scattered pathways.
Where your focus goes, your brain grows.
Yeah.
That really sums it up.
It does. So it's not just about consuming information, like even listening to this. It's about engaging with it, reflecting, going deeper, giving your brain something solid to work with.
Okay, actions, habits, focus.
Yeah.
What about emotions? The sources hinted that emotions can be powerful forces in this rewiring process, either helping us or trapping us. How do emotions get wired in?
Emotions are fascinatingly powerful. They act like glue for memory and identity. When you repeatedly experience and react with the same emotion, say anger or guilt or anxiety, it doesn't just stay as a fleeting feeling.
It solidifies.
It can, yeah. The initial reaction can become a regular mood. That mood, over time, can settle into a temperament. And eventually, it can become so ingrained it feels like a core part of your personality.
That's how someone becomes known as the anxious one, or always stressed. Not necessarily by choice, but through repeated emotional loops.
Exactly. Their brain has literally been trained through repetition to default to that emotional state. And the scary part is, the brain gets efficient at it.
A trigger becomes a shortcut straight to that feeling.
A superhighway, yes. But here's the hopeful part, the actionable part. You can interrupt this. You can shorten what's called the emotional refractory period.
The cool down time after an emotional spike.
Kind of, yes. Instead of letting yourself stew in anger or sadness for hours or days, you can consciously choose to pause. Acknowledge the feeling without judgment. Okay, I'm feeling frustrated right now. And then, crucially, redirect your focus.
Don't feed the loop.
Don't feed the loop. By shortening that period, you prevent the emotion from digging deeper roots, from becoming your default state. Your reaction doesn't have to define your identity. You can choose a different response.
Let's talk about stress. It usually has such a negative connotation, but the material suggested that some types of stress, used strategically, can actually be good for brain change.
That's a really important distinction. Not all stress is bad. There's short-term controlled stress, sometimes called eustress.
Yeah.
Think of things like pushing yourself slightly in a workout, giving a presentation, maybe even taking a quick cold shower.
Things that feel challenging but manageable.
Exactly. That kind of stress sends a signal. Pay attention, adapt, grow. It's like a workout for your nervous system. It actually prompts your brain to build resilience and new connections.
Okay, but the key is the recovery, right?
Yeah.
Because the bad kind of stress is the chronic, relentless kind.
Absolutely essential. If you're always in emergency mode, constant deadlines, arguments, financial worries, endless negative news, that doom scrolling, that's toxic stress. That leads to burnout, fatigue, and it actually damages the brain over time.
So it's like the fireplace analogy again. Controlled fire warms the house.
Uncontrolled fire burns it down. Use stress strategically, like a tool. Challenge yourself, but then give yourself space to recover. Your brain needs that downtime, silence, rest, reflection to actually integrate the learning and consolidate the growth.
Which brings us perfectly to sleep, the thing we all know we need, but often treat as disposable.
The sources were really strong on this, weren't they? Sleep isn't optional for this rewiring process.
Non-negotiable. Honestly, you can do everything else right, take action, build habits, manage stress. But if you sacrifice sleep consistently, it's like planting that garden we talked about,
Yeah.
and then just never watering it.
Nothing takes root properly.
Nothing takes root. And the reason is fascinating. During deep sleep, your brain isn't just passive. There's this amazing process where cerebrospinal fluid washes through the brain.
The brain shrinks. I read that detail. It's wild.
It does slightly, allowing this fluid to flush out metabolic waste, toxins that build up when we're awake. It's a literal cleaning process. Without that, your brain just can't function optimally, let alone build new connections effectively. So while we're sleeping, the brain's like this busy construction and cleaning crew.
Exactly. It's reinforcing the important pathways you use during the day, the new habits, the learning. It's clearing out the junk. And it's even pruning away connections that aren't being used, making the whole system more efficient.
Croning, so getting rid of what doesn't matter to make space.
Making space for what does. Now, even short naps or just quiet rest can help a bit with short-term consolidation. But the deep, restorative work, that happens during solid, uninterrupted sleep.
So the message for anyone trying to change, learn English better, feel sharper, don't just hustle harder, prioritize sleep.
Honor your sleep. It's not lazy, it's essential biology. It's when the brain does its most important work behind the scenes to make all your daytime efforts stick.
Okay, wow. We've covered a huge amount in this deep dive. The brain isn't fixed, action fuels motivation, habits sculpt identity, focus directs growth, emotions can be managed, stress can be strategic, and sleep is crucial.
It all comes together, doesn't it? The core message from all these insights is that you're not stuck with the brain you have. You are constantly shaping it.
You are the architect. It really boils down to being intentional, doesn't it? With your actions, your focus, your rest.
Absolutely. Taking conscious control of those inputs.
So take what you've learned today. Don't feel overwhelmed. Just start small. Be consistent. Remember, your brain is changing anyway.
You just get to decide how. Guide that change with purpose.
Which leads us to a final thought for you to take away.
Knowing your brain is constantly sculpting itself, like that garden, based on everything you do and think. What single, small, intentional action will you take today, right now, to plant one new positive seed in that mental garden of yours?
That's a wrap for today's episode on MLS English Podcast.
If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with someone who's serious about growing in English and in life.
Keep practicing, keep pushing, and we'll see you in the next one.
Let's grow together.